Real estate agents, listen up. If you're not using this AI tool, you're missing out. Plus, coming soon, the best week to buy a home. Stay tuned also for 3 ways you can increase your business this week. So, hey, thanks for being here with me today. We got a lot to unpack. The first thing that we're going to start with is AI or die. I have an AI tool that is a game changer. I'm going to quickly show you that because you need to see it. And coming soon is the best week to buy a house. We're going to unpack it. I'm going to leave you today with 3 things that you can do every day that will have a monumental impact on your business. So really pumped about that. But let's dive into this AI tool. And the reason I'm going to take just a moment of my next several calls and go through a different AI tool with you is I believe it is a game changer. And I believe that those of us that embrace and use AI will outperform those of us that don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the AI tools that we are using here at Zoodealio that we believe are going to have the biggest impact on your business. So the first one that I have for you is pretty cool, and it's probably my favorite. This tool is insane. In fact, the first time I used it, I couldn't believe how cool it was. Not only that, it is free for me still because it gave me an introductory package and I have not even paid for this tool yet. So what it is, it's called Opus Clip. And what this AI tool will do is you can drop in any YouTube link or you can upload any video file, and it will take that large file you upload and clip it down into short form vertical videos for you, and it will even caption those videos for you. So I'm going to show you how it works. And here I am on the Opus Clip screen, and all you would do is if you had a YouTube link, you would just simply drop it right there. If you were uploading a video file, you would simply just upload it right there, and then you would click Get Clips. Now, it does take about 15 to 20 minutes for the AI to do its thing and for it to actually clip up these videos for you. So I'm not going to actually do that on today's call. Instead, I'm going to show you what it looks like once it's done. So once it's done, you're going to get an email, and that email is going to say, hey, your clips are ready. And then you'll be able to go into your dashboard and you'll be able to see the different clips. So here is an example of a podcast that we did a few weeks ago, and I went in there and I threw the clip in there, and then it actually clipped out all of these different clips for me. There are, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, so many different clips. 13. It gave me 13 different clips for this particular podcast. So I want you to think about the ways that you can use this. Even if you're not podcasting, you could just sit down in front of your phone and record. You could talk about what's going on in the market. You could talk about what's going on in your local market. You could talk about maybe a story from a recent seller or a recent buyer and just talk, just vomit to the camera. And then you could take that whole video file, upload it in here, and it is going to clip out these different short form videos for you. So it also gives what it calls a virality score, and it tells you how well it thinks the clip will perform. So I thought that was pretty cool. It gives you a recap of what the clip is about. So when you go to post this on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or LinkedIn or Facebook, you can actually just even grab this description, and then here's the beauty. You can click edit on any of these clips. And when you click edit, it's going to allow you to change the captions, to change the color. It's going to allow you to change the frame. You can delete the words. You can add different words. So it is really quite phenomenal. For instance, if I were to click design, I can come in here and I can change the captions, etc. So really cool what it does. And the fact that it did this for me with me doing nothing, I believe is just absolutely insane. And it's been one of my favorite AI tools that I've seen yet. Again, we're using this here at Zoodealio to streamline our content production. And I really believe that you can use it too in your business, even if you're not podcasting. Again, sit down, dump in front of the camera, throw it into Opus Clip and see what it spits back out at you. Making content is such a key portion of our business these days. And so I think this is one way to streamline it. So hope you like it. I'm going to be sharing these different AI tools with you as the weeks go on. One thing I'll mention is that while we were at the Tom Ferry Success Summit, I mean, pretty much the whole time, everybody was talking about using AI in your business and how cool it can be and the things that you can do to really enhance your productivity. So this was one of those that I thought, oh my goodness, it's my favorite. Everybody I know, I want to know about this because it is that awesome. So if you use it, let me know what you think. I hope you'll love it as much as I do. All right, we're gonna move on, but that was just a little quick tidbit on AI. And we're gonna go into the best week to buy a home. I thought this was really interesting. Realtor.com just released their prediction and it is coming soon. So according to Realtor.com, between October 1st and October 7th is the best week to buy a home. And the reason why is they've crunched the numbers and they say that buyers can expect to get about a $15,000 price cut from the summer peak prices. And they've also came out and predicted that there's going to be about 19% more listings that hit the market during this week and fewer buyers competing with you. So I think this is great news if you're a buyer, you're on the fence. And I think also us as realtors, we need to know that sellers in our database are thinking of making a move and they're thinking of putting their house on the market. I mean, Realtor.com crunched the numbers and they're saying almost 20% more listings are going to come on the market the week of October 1st through October 7th. So that is tremendous opportunity for us to be getting back in front of everybody we know, all of the sellers in our database, and following up with them to see, have you had any thoughts of selling? Now, it's all fine and good that Realtor.com is saying this is going to be one of the best weeks to buy a house for the entire year. But what we know is interest rates are crazy right now, right? I mean, we are in the 7s and it doesn't seem like there's any relief in sight. And I know that a lot of buyers are simply just sticker shocked and they're going, I'm going to wait until rates come down. And I can't really blame them, can you? I mean, they are high. We know that they're like 2-decade high rates. Purchase applications haven't been this low in 28 years. So what is going on? Is there any relief in sight? I was able to find from the leading housing authorities their predictions on what they believe rates are going to do in these last quarters of 2023. Now, what they think and what's actually happening, I don't know. I don't know, guys. What are your thoughts? So NAR thinks rates are going to come down. And Fannie Mae thinks that they're also going to come down. So do the Mortgage Bankers Association and the National Association of Home Builders. But look at Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo thinks they're going to stay at about where they are. Either way, we know that rates are higher than they were, and we know that buyers are sitting on the fence. I wanted to ask you about the buy downs. Are you seeing temporary buy downs in your market? Because see, we talk a lot about them here in the Phoenix market. A lot of the lenders here are really sharing that the 2-1 buy down, the 3-1 buy down are a great way to get buyers in at a lower introductory rate. Now, of course, the seller or the realtor or somebody other than the buyer has to pay for that buy down to get that lowered rate. And what I found is that back when rates hit 7 last November, December, the buy downs were a large share of the purchase applications. And what we're seeing now is it's fallen off. And so I don't know if it's just an education piece, if it's maybe financially not working out for people, but revisit the temporary buy downs. It can be a great way to kind of lessen that sticker shock on the buyer getting into the home and give them a lower introductory rate for that first year or for that first 2 or 3 years. So I thought it was interesting. I wanted to just draw some attention to this because I think it can be a great way to start a conversation. Will it work for everybody? I don't know, probably not. However, it gives us the opportunity to, again, open the dialogue and have that communication so that we can be the expert. We can come with options and solutions to accomplish their home buying and selling journey. Now, I had shared this with you a few weeks ago, and I thought it was worth revisiting because the quarterly survey of homeowner intentions and preferences found that 1 in 4 homeowners are considering selling their home within the next 3 years. And of those that are considering selling, 4 in 10 said that they were considering selling in the next year. So we know that there's a lot of pent-up demand. We know that there are a lot of people that purchased homes and it's just not working out for them. Now they're kind of locked in and they're stuck in those golden handcuffs, so to speak. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what transpires over the next 6, 12, 18 months and how many of those sellers actually do decide to make a move. I think some of the things like the buy down and some of the creative ways that we can help sellers accomplish their goal are going to provide some liquidity in the market. And my question for you is, are you going to embrace these things? Are you going to bring this optionality forth to your client base so that you can have engaging conversations? I hope the answer is yes. I really do. Because see, that's what it's all about. It's all about starting that conversation. It's all about inspiring the thought and really getting people to think that there could be a way to make that move. There could be a way to sell and buy that perhaps they hadn't thought of, or maybe they just needed more information in order to make that decision. And so I want you to be the one that inspires those conversations. I always look to Google Trends, guys. And this is the first time since I've been tracking Google Trends that the cash offer is a breakout rising search term when it comes to selling your home. So what this means is that sellers who type in "sell my home" on Google are also Googling cash offers. They're also Googling, unfortunately, and I really don't want you to have to see it, but you're seeing it, it's there. They're also Googling open door. Why? That's the question. Why? Well, what we know is that sellers are prioritizing other things than they have in the past. And we know that there's been hundreds of millions of marketing dollars letting them know that there are different ways to accomplish their goal. And what data has also uncovered is that home sellers really prefer cash. They want 3 things. They want certainty, they want speed, and they want cash. And when they do make that move, they really value those things. And so because of that, I don't want to ignore the data. I want to lean into the data. And I want to arm you as the expert in your market to bring this optionality forth. And so I'm going to spend just a moment and we're going to kind of burn through this because I go through it often. And the reason I do is because I really want to tool you up on this cash offer that is outperforming all of other offers in every single market right now. And the reason is pretty darn obvious. What we know is the straight cash offers are coming in very low. So at Zoodealio, we are connected to about $10 billion of purchasing power. And of those buyers in our network, their cash offers are coming in very low. Sometimes 50, 55 cents on the dollar, very low. And so because of that, the cash offer, the straight cash offer is not performing very well. I mean, just makes sense. Now, do I believe this will shift? Yes, I do. Last month, MetLife just raised almost $400 million more to purchase specifically single-family rentals across the United States. We see a lot of these kind of newsworthy headlines breaking. We know that there are still a ton of single-family funds that are purchasing. We know that the capital market now they really want this single family rental portion in their portfolios. So I do believe it'll get better. I just believe that there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of macroeconomic uncertainty. And because of that, those buyers, they're tightening their belts. And if they're going to purchase right now, they're going to purchase a deal. And so the really neat thing about the Cash Plus offer is it truly gives that home seller all of the certainty and convenience of a cash offer while still allowing them to benefit on the open market. Cash Plus offer, our mission with that is to truly give the homeowner a full market value cash offer. And we want to help them achieve that certain and that convenient home sale. And the way we're able to do that is through the structured sale. It's through the holdback. And we want to be really transparent about what the fees are on this cash offer. And so we have two fees associated with it, the service fee and the resale fee. And what we mean by a full market value cash offer is we truly want that offer to be what the buyer or what the seller would get if they were to put their home on the open market. Now, we know that offers are instant now in the Zoodealio platform. I want to just caution you that if you get an offer return and you believe that the offer is too low or too high, please communicate that with us. When the offers are returned, you're going to have several opportunities to reach out to us. You're going to get a Calendly link to talk with our offers team. You can call us, email us, but we want to hear from you. So if we got it wrong, let us know. Push back on that valuation. And even if it's too high, right? Because the goal of this offer is to make that offer at market value. It really doesn't do anyone any favors if it's too high because of the way that the holdback is assessed. And if it's too low, it's not really doing them favors either. So if you don't agree with that number, please let us know and we'll take a second look at it. Now, the holdback is a percent of the homeowner's equity that gets held back as a risk assessment until that home is resold on the open market. Now, right now, we're seeing about 15% on average as the holdback amount. It can be a little lower in markets or areas where there is very little risk, and it can be higher in markets or price points that are much higher. So if you have anything over, I'd say $1.2 million, you're probably going to see a 20-25% holdback. The holdback is not a fee. It is a portion of the equity that is held until that property is resold on the open market. And I'm going to skin out the 3 different ways that risk assessment is returned to the homeowner in just a moment. And what I want to kind of highlight next are the fees. So we have our service fee, which is 6%, and we have our resale fee, which is 7.5%. Now, the 6% service fee, this covers kind of a multitude of things for that homeowner. So keep in mind that the buyer is outlaying their cash to purchase that home. So it covers the buyer's cost of capital, but it covers a few other things as well. It covers property insurance, property taxes, the HOA fees, water, sewer, trash, electricity, gas, etc. All of those things during the resale time frame. So this chunk, this 6% service fee is covering things that the seller would normally be paying for. So I like to highlight that because there's a little bit of cost savings for that seller. I did a podcast with one of our, I'll call her a power user, Denise Bushimi, and I don't know if she's on today. If you are, hi Denise, thank you so much for doing that with me. It was fun. And what I learned is there's some really specific use cases that she's found for the Cash Plus. And one of the ways that she's found it to be very beneficial is in a reverse mortgage. The way she described it is it plugs the hole of that money outlaying every single month. And so really neat to kind of see those different use cases come in to play. But again, just wanted to highlight that this service fee isn't just the buyer's profit. It is also some of the very hard costs of owning the property. Now, the 7.5% resale fee, this covers your commissions, the buyer broker's commissions, and also the closing costs on the second sale. Back to the fee, let me kind of break this down. For the 7.5% resale fee, you get paid 2% when the buyer purchases the home from your seller. When you relist the home on the open market, you will get paid another 2%. And then 2.5% is offered to the buyer broker to bring in that buyer. In the event there is no buyer broker and you find the buyer yourself, you will also get that 2.5%. The remaining percent is used for closing costs on the second sale. You might be thinking that these fees are too high. You might be thinking like 13.5% fees, that's way too high. Nobody's ever gonna take this. Well, you're wrong because they do. But I wanted to show you some data from Open Door, because what we know is that they are charging a margin much greater than this fee. So keep in mind, now that fee for the Cash Plus, the service fee, and the resale fee totals 13.5%. Now your commission is paid out of that, keep in mind. And if you were to take that listing, my guess is you would charge roughly anywhere from, well, data says you'll charge anywhere from 5.5% to 6.5%. And there would be some closing costs as well. So when we look at what Open Door charges, I wanted to highlight this. Sometimes from agents that aren't real educated on cash offers and different structures, they'll say things like, it's too high, no seller would ever take that. Well, they're wrong, they're dead wrong. And I wanted to show you Open Door's gross margin. When we say gross margin, this is just a fancy way for Open Door to say what we buy it for versus what we sell it for, and the percent of margin that they make from buy to sell. And I found this to be very eye-opening. I think you will too, because this does not include two massive fees that Open Door charges a homeowner. The first one is their service fee of 5%. So any of these numbers that you see on this screen right now, I want you to add 5% to that number. So what do these numbers mean? Well, what these numbers mean is that for any property that they sold in July, their gross margin was 13.7%, and then add 5 because of their service fee. So their margin on average for the homes that they purchased or that they sold in July was 18.7%, you guys. 18.7%. Now, I mentioned before there are two fees that are hidden that aren't included in these numbers. The first one is their service fee, and they're pretty transparent about what that is, right? They market that, they advertise that it's 5%. They want consumers to know it's 5%. They want realtors to know it's 5%. It's 5%. The fee that we don't know, and the one that is a big question mark, and if you've worked with Open Door, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, that is what they charge the homeowner during the inspection period, during the repairs. What sort of hit is that homeowner taking during that inspection period? And I can tell you, because we see the numbers, that sometimes they're gouging thousands and thousands of dollars during the inspection period. So when you're looking at these gross margins, I want you to keep that in mind, because that is an unknown fee that the seller is taking a hit on, and we don't know what that is. But what we do know is we do know the data that's being published, and we do know that any homes that they sold in July, there was a 13.7% margin plus their 5% service fee. For June, 14.3% plus a 5% service fee. In May, 15.1%. Look at March. For homes that they sold in March, their gross margin was 18.7%. Add 5% to that, guys. That is about 23% margin. And so when you look at the Cash Plus offer structure, it will never be higher than 13.5%. And that 13.5% includes you as the local listing agent making a very fair commission on both sides. And so I just wanted to highlight this because I find it fascinating and extremely upsetting when agents say things like, it's too expensive. No, it's not. You just don't understand what's really happening in the world of cash offers. And when you look at the data, you're able to make some very intelligent decisions. So the next slide, this is just per market. And I thought this was really interesting. Some markets outperform others. In Atlanta, their gross margin was 15.7%. Here in Phoenix, their gross margin was less, 8.5%. Probably because they took a beating on homes here in Phoenix, but I thought this one was really interesting. You can kind of scan through, see where your market's at. Looks like the highest on this list was Detroit at 18.7. So I believe another benefit of using the Zoodealio cash offers is you retain the listing. So after the buyer closes on the home, they're going to use you to relist that home and bring it to the open market. So pretty cool. Here was that commission slide I just missed, kind of delineating out what I had shared. And that is the 2% to you on the first sale, 4.5% on the second sale, and how that is broken down. So just shedding some light on that for you. So I'm going to go through a breakdown of the numbers with you so we can really be clear. So here's how it works. Let's say that the offer is $500,000. That is what we believe that the market value of the home is. So the offer amount is $500,000. On that first sale, the seller is going to pay a 6% service fee of $30,000. They're going to pay a 7.5% resale fee of $37,500, and there will be that holdback taken out on the first sale. And in this scenario, I used a 10% fee of $50,000. So their first payout is going to be $382,500. Now, as I mentioned, the way the holdback is dispersed to the homeowner is in accordance with what the home sells for on the open market. And there are really only 3 different ways this can go down. So the first way is the house will sell for the exact same amount on the open market. So let's say a house is brought to the open market and it sells for $500,000. Well, this is the easiest, the cleanest scenario because all of that $50,000 is returned to that homeowner as their second payout. Now, another way that it can skin out is the home sells for less on the open market. And so in this scenario, let's say the house sells for $490,000 on the open market. And what will happen in this scenario, because the holdback is a hedge, it's a risk assessment, that difference between the cash offer made and what the home sold for on the open market will be deducted from the holdback. So in this scenario, $10,000 would be deducted and the second payout would be $40,000. Now, the last way this can skin out, and this is obviously the most exciting and fun way, is the home sells for more on the open market. And so in this scenario, it's great because not only will the seller receive all of their risk assessment returned, they will also receive what we call the upside of the open market. So if the house sells for $510,000 on the open market, they're going to receive a second payout of $60,000. Now, there's something also really cool that we can do with this offer structure that can completely transform not only the home, but also the seller's pocketbook. Let me explain. We can go in, after the seller moves out, the buyer can go in and make repairs to the property and enhance its value. Now, keep in mind, the buyer will not do this unless during the inspection period, it is negotiated with that seller and the seller is very clear and on board and agrees to make these repairs. So this is not something that the buyer is going to unilaterally go in and do. This is something that during the inspection period, maybe even you as the agent will say to us, hey, listen, I believe if we were to go in and make these repairs to the property, it would sell for way more on the open market. Or the buyer just doing their due diligence, takes a look at the property and says, oh my goodness, if we just did a few things to this property, it's going to sell for way more on the open market. So this is negotiated during the inspection period. It is not something that the buyer does unilaterally. Another important thing to note is keep in mind that ultimately these repairs cost the seller. The buyer isn't going to just pay for this to happen because, again, they're only making 6%. And of that 6%, there are a whole lot of things that they're using that capital to cover, including their cost of capital. So any repairs that would be negotiated to be made after the seller moves out obviously are going to come from that seller's proceeds. However, it can massively increase the resale value of the property. So I'm going to take you to Texas today, and I'm going to show you a couple examples we have out of Texas where the seller agreed to have repairs made and that home sold for way more on the open market. So the first one we have here is in Sanger, Texas, and cute little home, but you can see that after it just shined. So the interior of this home, it didn't have a whole lot done to it. Paint, new carpet, painting the cabinets. But here was the before. I think what kind of really sticks out to me and what you know when meeting with homeowners is that they got a lot of stuff sometimes, and they're not always the best housekeepers. And so if we were to bring a property like this to market, it would be a bit of a challenge, and buyers kind of might get a little scared off just from the clutter and just from the stuff. But after, and in this scenario, painting carpets, painting the house, doing a real good, thorough, deep clean, that house just absolutely shined. Again, a lot of stuff, a lot of eyesore. After looks great. Again, stuff, soiled carpet, needs to be freshened up. After looks amazing. Kind of same story, just a lot kind of busting out of the seams of this one, and after looks amazing. And you can see nothing extremely, there wasn't some major renovation in this one. And the repairs and updates for this one were quite light. I'm going to show you the financial breakdown here in just a moment so you can get an idea of what that was. So the as-is value of that home in its condition was about $200,000. There were $7,500 of repairs, and this house sold on the open market for $265,000, which represented a value increase of $65,000. But this is the best part, a profit increase of $57,500. So you can see that the agent that brought their client this offer just netted them $57,000 more than had they just put their house on the open market. And the seller was able to get this cash offer. They were able to have all of that certainty and convenience. So I thought that was pretty darn cool. Here's another one in Houston, Texas. Not much done to the exterior of this one, just kind of freshened up some landscaping. But the interior of this one, again, needed some help, needed some work. That faux painting was real popular in the, late 90s, early 2000s. We saw it everywhere. Not so popular today. So just by freshening up the home, getting them out, painting the cabinets, painting the house, it made a world of a difference for this one. Again, just dark paint colors, lots of stuff going on here. After looked amazing. Gotta give a shout out to this agent. They virtually staged this house, and I thought they did a great job with it. Again, it just kind of cluttered, a lot going on. If you were walking into this house with a buyer, you'd kind of probably be distracted by everything. But when it was freshened up, it just looked beautiful. So same situation here. A lot of life happening, moving, packing, and by getting them out and making those repairs and updates, it just made a world of a difference. So yeah, you can just see here, sometimes seeing is believing, and you can see the difference that it makes when they're out, when the buyer's able to go in and freshen up that home and make those repairs, sometimes delayed maintenance too. It's an interesting kind of phenomena we have going on, is where sellers are so equity rich, yet many times, more often than not, they're cash poor. And so they just really simply cannot do a lot of these things without tapping into that equity. So this offer structure allows them to do that, allows them to have kind of that benefit of flipping their own home, if you will. And so this one was just night and day difference with the repairs that were done. And the repairs that were done on this one totaled about $28,704. The as-is value of that home was $350,000, and the resale price after the repairs were made was $449,997, which was a value increase of almost $100,000, a profit increase to that seller of $71,000. This is a big deal. Like I can't even express how happy my heart is to see these things play out and to see those sellers benefit from this really cool offer structure that we're able to provide through Zoodealio. It just, it's exciting. And I want you to be empowered with this offer structure so you can go have compelling conversations. And you can have that conversation of what would it look like if we were to rehab, update the kitchen, rehab the bathrooms. The buyer will do a range of things from light carpet paint to complete remodels. So keep that in mind. And also just know that it is a conversation starter. And one of the things that we always stress here at Zoodealio is It's about getting the listing. It's not about selling the cash offer. If it works for them, great, wonderful. But if it doesn't work for them, pivot to the listing. It's truly about bringing optionality forth to the consumer, giving them their options, being that fiduciary, delivering on the different ways they can accomplish their goal. And at the end of the day, you give them the information and you trust that they are smart and savvy consumers and they can make the decision that's best for them. You know, one of the things that just chaps my hide is when us as agents make a decision for our clients. Chaps my hide, and I see it on the daily, and it's the worst thing that you can do because it is not your decision to make. Your job is to present the information to them. And, you know, some agents just have this blanket thought that, you know, all cash offers are bad and this is terrible and I'm the fiduciary for my client. Well, if you're the fiduciary and you went in on this listing and you knew they didn't have a dime to invest into bringing it to market and you just put it on the market, you did them a disservice. You actually cost them money because you didn't invest, you didn't learn, you didn't know what was out there in the realm of selling your home. So I just wanted to tool you up and empower you today with these compelling value propositions that you have access to. It's exciting. So we all know, though, that your future is decided by what you do today, not tomorrow. So as I wrap up today, I want to leave you with some easy, very, very easy things you can do on the daily this week that your future self will thank you for. Because if you haven't noticed, transaction count is low. And if you haven't noticed, interest rates are at an all-time high, 2-decade high, not all-time, 2-decade high, which is a long time. You know, I look at where I'm at in my real estate journey, rates have never been this high. And I've been at this for 20 years. So I've not seen rates this high. But me personally, I don't think we will ever see rates in the 3 again. I don't think we will ever see 2.65, which is the record rate we hit in January of 2021. I don't think we will ever see that. Those days are gone. They're gone. And if you're living in the past, you're going to be really disappointed because the future looks very different. And what I know is that your win is not going to be taking a listing. Your win is not going to be getting that buyer in escrow. Your win right now looks like taking action day in, day out. I say this all the time, guys, but we have to detach. We have to detach from the outcome right now because this market, it is strange. It is the strangest market that any of us have ever been through. It is very strange. And if we attach our success to actually getting the business done, we're going to get discouraged, we're going to get disappointed, and we're going to stop. We're going to stop. And I don't want you to stop because what I know is that we will see brighter days. What I know is that we will get through this little sales slump. And what I know is that when that happens, if you're putting in the action day in and day out, you will massively win. You will go from where your business is, it will skyrocket. You will have that hockey stick growth because you didn't give up on yourself. You didn't give up on your dreams. You didn't give up on helping people that you know can use your help to make good decisions so that they can buy and sell and invest in real estate. So what are those 3 things that you can do this week? And if you do all of these things every day, I have some good news for you. If you do all of these things every day, by the end of the week, by just Friday, you will have contacted 100 different people with very relevant high-touch messages, which I'm going to give you in just a moment. Not only that, but you will have 5 pieces of content that you put out there, out into the world that will reap benefits for you. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he told me that about 15 years ago, he recorded a listing presentation video, and he still gets people to this day that comment on his listing presentation video on YouTube. Unbelievable. Like the content you make now will perform for you for months to come. Back in May, I did a little dive into ManyChat and some of the automations that you can use on ManyChat with your content. And I started doing it, and I still will get people that will comment a word on a video I posted 3 months ago to get the link direct messaged to them. So your content will live beyond you. Keep that in mind. So if you do this every day this week, the time investment would be minimal. I think that you'd be done with all of this in probably about maybe an hour and a half, maybe a little longer. I guess it depends on how much engagement you get from your messages, because you're going to be going back and forth. But I'm going to give you the messages that you can send out to engage your people. And I'm going to give you a video script that I think that you can go record, and it would make a really cool video. So we're going to start with the video script. And I am piggybacking off of Realtor.com's recent analysis about how this is the best time to buy, and it's coming up. So here's a script. Mark your calendars. The best week to buy a home is coming up. According to Realtor.com, you can expect to save about $15,000 off the summer peak of home prices if you buy October 1st through October 7th. Pretty cool, right? Here's why. There's forecasted to be about 18.9% uptick in new listings and fewer buyers to compete with, so you're likely to get a deal. If rising mortgage rates are holding you back, we should talk. There are different programs and creative options to help you navigate those financial waters. So if you're on the fence about making a move, with the prime time nearing, it might be your moment to dive in. Let's connect. Super easy. You could go record that today, get it out there. It would take you less than 5 minutes, and you would have a very compelling video out on your social media. So I highly encourage you to do it. Now, I have a couple other scripts for you for database follow-up. I think this would make a tremendous email. I think this would make a great email. What you could do is you could go in and you could insert that graph that I had showed earlier in the coaching call. But hey, this is excellent. It's piquing curiosity. It's accomplishing all the things. So there's a new report. Nearly 1 in 4 homeowners plan on selling in the next 3 years. Finally, some good news, right? The inventory crisis has dominated the real estate market for the past 24 months, but that might be changing. Have you had any thoughts of selling? See your home's value and what cash buyers would pay for your home. Complete the 5-minute survey on my site, kaylascashoffers.zoodealio.com. Super simple. So I think this would make a amazing, again, email. I would email this out to my database. Hopefully your database is segmented to all of the homeowners, so you could direct it just to them. All right, and then the final thing I'm going to leave you with is a Facebook message. So I believe that if you were to Facebook message this out, you would get great engagement, great response, and it's very simple. I hope you're doing well. I recently stumbled upon some intriguing insights. Realtor.com suggests the best week to buy a home is approaching, and Zillow mentioned 1 in 4 homeowners are considering selling their home. Whether you're thinking of making a move or just curious, I thought you might find this interesting. By the way, I have a handy tool on my website that can give you an immediate idea of your home's value, and you can see what cash buyers are willing to pay for your home. Would you like the link to check it out? Always here to help or chat about the market. So that is another message that you could really take, copy, paste, send out. Don't let analysis paralysis stop you from taking action this week, because I want to leave you with this. If you don't sacrifice for what you want will be the sacrifice. And I want all of you to achieve all of your home selling goals. Thanks for tuning in today. Make sure to like, comment, and ring that notification bell to get notified of new episodes.